Oh shit, we are live. All right, hang on. Thanks for acting right. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We're the Keyboard Warriors, presented by RepTheWarriors.com. I'm Eddie Law. That's Jesse Rubakava. Our guest tonight, the one, the only, fresh off his commentary debut, Adam Woods. How you doing,
Hey, what's good, party people? This is According to Woods, chilling, maxing and relaxing with the Keyboard Warriors. Why wouldn't you want to be here? And we're on the set of the Gym Crashers, which goes live on YouTube and Facebook on the free admission media sites at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But fuck, couldn't be anywhere else but here with the Keyboard Warriors. What's good, party people?
Appreciate you, my friend. Hey, okay, so yeah, we talked about it for the show, but yeah, how was that commentary gig? Like, we always watch, Bellator and UFC, and you guys Mike McCarthy, and you got Joe Rogan and everything, and people complain about these guys all the time. Now that you were on the other side of the microphone, how'd that feel?
Man, fucking trip balls, man. And the promotion was Sparstar MMA. And if you look at Sparstar, they're the crown jewel of amateurs here, amateur promotions here in Southern California. Mm-hmm. This is 44 fight cards that they've done. And it was kind of poetic justice because I was actually, about 2 years ago when I first started doing this, I was actually snuck into Sparstar so I can do interviews, and now I was able to call a full card. And I mean, names like Daniel Rodriguez of Combate and Dana White Contender Series fame, Tyrion Flash Ware. These are guys that fought on early incarnations of Sparstar. Albert Morales. So yeah, really cool. Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah, that's honestly one of the things that's on my list is commentating an event. Maybe at some point I get a shot. But all right, yeah. So I mean, as far as the event goes, Sparstar 44. How'd it go? Like, obviously, I didn't get to see it, but how'd you think? What'd you think?
No, so you can check that out on the Sparstar MMA Facebook page. It is streamed live and free, a la Bellator. But it was amazing. I mean, CSW, obviously Eric Paulson's gym. In Fullerton, they had a bunch of big wins for a lot of their guys, as well as Saxon's Muay Thai in Van Nuys. They had a bunch of guys, a couple wins, and it was a kind of a split camp because at the same time, across the way, there was Sean Merriman's Lights Out promotion happening in Burbank, right? So everybody was kind of split. The gyms were split. My production people, we were split. But it was a great time, and called the fights with the Widowmaker Kevin Weedos. So shout out to Kevin, and I can't wait till Jonathan King and Kevin Weedos get back on October 5th for the next Sparstar MMA.
Sweet, there you go, man. And again, free on their website right there, just like I said. So for sure, check that out, especially with the homeboy Adam Woods calling fights now, man.
Too kind. I'm surprised Jesse and Eddie haven't yet. So hey, you guys, book them. They're two of the best guys in the business. And again, you can take that to the bank and cash it. That's according to Woods. So hire these guys. I mean, you're gonna have to probably pull out like the Brinks truck to their addresses respectively. But I'm just saying it's worth every penny.
Oh, you too kind, my friend. I appreciate that. All right, let's talk. UFC 239 went down this last weekend. Of course, main evented by John Jones against Thiago Santos.
Wait. Do we really want to start with the main event, or do we just want to talk about the poetic justice of?
Okay, let's go with that. Go ahead, Jesse. Take it away.
Okay. So, out of everything that we could have seen happening in this event, I think the greatest thing that happened was Ben Askren took a loss, and Masvidal just had the best knockout, probably hands down of the year, right? Not only the quickest, but just the most brutal and savage. And then to top it off, his post-fight speech in the back, when they asked him, if those extra punches were necessary, Masvidal in true Masvidal fashion saying, "Of course they were," Not apologetic about anything he did in there, and the fact that he trained exactly for what he did in that octagon 5 seconds in. I mean, how do you not start with that conversation?
What'd you think, man? I mean, like coming out, hands behind his back, little to the right, and it took off running.
And again, Jesse, you alluded to it in the fact that it was poetic justice, because it wasn't just the fact that it was, the fastest knockout in UFC history. beating the previous fastest knockout by like 2 whole seconds.
Mhm.
That's incredible. And realistically, and I think Joe Rogan pointed it out earlier this week, that it was actually like maybe about 2 or 3, because it took another 2 for the ref to get in there, and Askren took a couple shots. So realistically, 3 seconds, right? In reality. But the thing about it is the amount of trash talk that were had between both Masvidal and Askren coming into the UFC, almost like this generation's Chael Sonnen, right? Almost pro wrestling in his kind of candor, and I mean, this is a guy who crapped on CM Punk for coming into the UFC, and then once he trained at the gym, he was like, "Oh, we're buddies now."
Right.
Right on. But yeah, I mean, again, I couldn't have put it any better than what Jesse said earlier in its poetic justice, because I mean, they were even replaying on some of the gifs and the memes, and the internet has been all over Askren for sure. But it was. I think they played one right after the weigh-ins, and he was just like, "Oh, this is going to be the quickest fight in history." And yeah, little did he know he would be on the receiving end. What'd you guys think?
How great is it that, like, in this generation of GIFs, it's literally possible to watch that whole fight in one GIF?
It was
Like,
beautiful. Honestly, here's the thing. So, Masvidal comes out, knocks him the fuck out, gives him a couple extra punches, and gets down as I keep talking all that shit. That brought me back to how I grew up. Right, like I grew up rough, neighborhoods, all that shit. And when you fight someone that's been talking trash to you, right, in the street, and you knock them the fuck out, you're talking some shit afterwards. Now, you're not just gonna let him go. You know what I mean? You're not just gonna be like, yeah, let's shake hands, but no, fuck you. All right, you talk all this shit. I knocked you the fuck out. I embarrassed you. Now I'm gonna embarrass you some more, so you never come back to this shit, right? Mm-hmm. Well, people are giving Jorge Masvidal shit for his post-fight antics are calling him. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Maybe, look, I've never seen a street fight where I'm from where they got up and shook hands. That might be some like rich suburb shit. I never seen that.
It might be 2 white kids that fought over, the last Gucci bag or something. But, look, the truth of the matter is that we've been talking about it, right, on the show before, that Masvidal's a guy you don't mess with. He's a real dude. He's like a real thug that if you tell him, hey, man, you want to throw down, he's not going to be like, oh, would you like to? No, he's going to walk up and smack you in the face and go, well, what's up then? Like, he's not a guy that that you think you can get away with what, Ben Askren was doing. And, I think that it's awesome to see that we still have this type of personality in the UFC, right? We don't have Nick Diaz. We don't have Nate Diaz. We kind of have Khabib, but Khabib is like, so far and few between his fights that we don't get to see him often enough. And it's pretty awesome to see that we still got Masvidal, who has evolved so much. And now he's at the forefront of maybe possibly jumping the line and getting a title shot. And still being just who he is. And, he's a real guy, like I'm saying. So, I mean, it's pretty awesome to see that, you juxtapose that with, Ben Askren, who, likes to hype up fights, kind of a little bit of the wrestling thing, talk some smack, build a storyline. And, I think the best tweet of the night was Ben Askren tweeted out, well, that sucked. And then Masvidal retweeted that and was like, fake news, he's still sleeping.
Yeah.
That's savage.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I'm just tired of hearing all that shit. Kind of Jorge Masvidal, like dirty or whatever, has no class. Like, fuck you. You have class. Have class and talk shit, that kind of shit to you. You have to defend your honor and shit. Like, dude, I don't understand what these people don't understand about guys like Jorge Masvidal, Nick Diaz, Nate Diaz, even Hick Diaz, fucking Jason Knight. Who else? There's so many guys you can't talk shit to because they take it serious. It's not a game. You know what I mean? Not everyone's Chael Sonnen that understands this is a promotion. Not everyone's even Conor McGregor that understands this is a promotion. Some of these guys, this is what they do to live. This is what they grew up, understanding. And so I don't know. I understand the want to see to keep trying to legitimize it as a sport, but it's still combat, right? I mean, we're not that soft here. You don't like it? Go watch soccer. The most violent you get there is fucking flops.
Yeah, but also the fact is that Masvidal doesn't act like this with every single one of his opponents, right?
Exactly.
Masvidal only acts like this with people that, you know, trash talk him, go over the line. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's a real man because of the fact that he has like a standard of how he treats people. And if you cross that line, he's going to teach you a lesson, you know, and he's the type of guy that can teach you a lesson. Sure, there are a lot of guys out there that feel like they could teach a person a lesson, but then they try to get in a fight. They can't fight, you know? But this is a dude that he's just going to, you know, if someone runs into him on the street, says something, you know, to him. I don't know if you guys saw that video of that fan trying to wrestle with Ben Askren in a hotel lobby. You know,
oh shit, really?
That wouldn't fly with a guy like, you know, Masvidal or, you know, with any of those guys like a Diaz brother or any of those guys, right? They'd get a fist in the face and then they, you know, that's it. But, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, that's the stark difference between what we're saying, like a promoter and a real fighter. And that's the other thing too. Like you said, Eddie, Masvidal grew up fighting. Like, he grew up in that world just trying to get, you know, paid, trying to feed himself.
Mm-hmm.
He was part of that Kimbo team where he would fight for money. You know, like he's a different type of dude. And the whole thing that now he's like, you know, in the UFC, in a legitimate sport, you know, trying to be an athlete instead of just a street fighter, still doesn't take away the fact that he's still that guy, still fighting for, you know, fighting for food, you know? So it's just great to see a guy like that, you know, be able to teach a guy like Ben Askren a lesson. And to everybody that's like, oh, Ben Askren is done, he should fight CM Punk and all this stuff. Dude, that's his first loss. That's his first loss in quite a bit of years. I mean, everybody takes a loss. So, I mean, you know, I think this is something that if Ben Askren wants to, you know, make a run at the championship, I think he could still evolve, change a little bit of stuff, and not be as predictable, because that's what it came down to, right? He was so predictable that Masvidal was able to game plan for this perfectly. If Ben Askren was, you know, kind of like a real different fighter where, you know, he's managed to mix things up, would keep his opponent guessing and wouldn't go just straight for a takedown, I mean, I don't think Masvidal could actually plan this perfectly. But because, you know, he said it, you know, what does he always do? He always goes for a takedown. He's pretty aggressive, especially if I'm not, you know, if his opponent doesn't really charge at him, or if they do charge at him, you know, he goes straight for a takedown. And we saw that, you know, he faked him out, made him look like he was going to go for you know, just a tackle or something. And Ben Askren went straight down, you know, for a takedown and ate a knee to the face. So I think people that are reacting to, you know, Ben Askren's done, washed up and all that, I think that's just hate for a guy that's actually a pretty legitimate fighter, has been undefeated. And, you know, everybody takes a loss. And, you know, I want to see whether he decides to stick to his game or if he's going to evolve and be something better.
Yeah, I mean, Adam, on that, you know, on that note right there, what do you think is next to Ben Askren? What do you think he does?
So, I mean, again, he hasn't been defeated. He essentially rode his acumen as a elite level wrestler to a Bellator and one championship respectively. Went on a self-imposed retirement before this, right? So, I mean, it would be a shame to see him go after this one, but we saw what happened to Ronda when she lost. You know, what that one can do, you know, when it's in the losing column, right? But, you know, Askren's at a good camp. He's at Rufus-Fort in Milwaukee. So with that being said, I mean, if he chooses to continue, I don't even know how we're talking about this. Of course he's going to come back, right? Yeah. It's not like on the opposite end of the spectrum of, you know, 239 of like a Diego Sanchez of like proportion, right? So obviously Askren's got a lot to prove, especially after that fight with Lawler that, you know, ended in controversy in terms of it being, you know, stopped. I mean, Lawler's hand was out. To me, that's my personal opinion. Right. You know, but Lawler was out and whatever, but there was controversy there, right? And then to Masvidal, I don't know if we run it back, but I definitely think that whatever ranking that he has after this Masvidal fight, we should pursue whoever's next in line, because, like, again, you can't go to 2 championships And anybody that says one isn't not legitimate, anything, Bellator isn't legitimate. Look at the people, the rosters of that. You see what happened to Eddie Alvarez when he went to one, got starched. Look what Benson Henderson did when he went to Bellator, got starched. Okay, so this is not just because it's not the UFC doesn't mean it's not top flight competition. Right. Top flight competition happens at every card, amateur, pro, from regional to the big time every weekend here in the States. So with that being said, everybody's got a puncher's chance. I'd like to see Askren back, but I also want to see Masvidal in a title fight. He's earned it.
I'm with that. I wouldn't mind seeing just to shut all the controversy after the Lawler fight. I'd like to see Ben Askren against Robert Lawler again. Just to end the controversy, right? Because people are just like, oh, he needs an immediate rematch against Jorge. He didn't get to show anything. I'm like, well, he got knocked out, so of course he didn't. But I'm just like, all right, cool. We'll give him a rematch as soon as Robbie Lawler gets one, just because I like to fuck with people that got mad about Masvidal winning. But I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Or how about a Darren Till fight for?
They got smoke, right? They got some smoke.
Right.
And both of them coming off of losses, and it's not like Ben Askren is going to be able to knock out Darren Till. Going to give his chin a little bit of a rest, and I think if Darren Till is really serious about becoming a top contender, his wrestling is going to have to improve, right? We've kind of known that. So it's a perfect test for both of them, right? But we have to see how long it takes before Ben Askren is ready, because I think his jaw is broken, if I remember correctly.
No, that's Luke Rockhold.
Oh, it's just Rockhold.
Askren was doing an interview the next morning.
Oh, he did?
Yeah,
He's
with Errol, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, he went on the Noses show and talked about, and I gotta give him a lot of credit the way he took that loss, man, like a fucking champ. Because he was just like, he even addressed the fact that people were calling it a fluke. He's like, that was no fluke. No, he trained that shit. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's the thing. That's what gives me hope that we're gonna see him back as soon as he can. Into the octagon, because I think he's always had a good sense of like, he knew his run was gonna end eventually. Whether it was going to be this way or whether it was going to be, it was just going to be a long slog and he was going to get beat up. But eventually he knew he was going to lose. And I think the whole difference between him and Ronda was Ronda just never thought she was ever going to lose. And when she lost, we saw how she reacted, right? She still felt like she didn't lose. And she lost again. And then, that was it. Like, she just didn't feel like she lost. So she couldn't accept that in her head. But, I think other fighters have taken it well, kind of like a Conor, right? When he lost, he took it pretty well. He went into the back, did his interview, gave props, to Nate, and wanted to run it back. Like, that's how you kind of take those losses, right? And it seems like Ben Askren is on that same path. Like, he's not too built up on his ego that he's like, oh no, I didn't lose, or that was a fluke, right? So it's already a good thing.
Definitely. All right, let me catch up on the YouTube comments. We have a bunch. Raider says, who let Adam in the house?
Usually I'm in the back house. Apparently I made the porch, so 10 points.
There you go. She goes, this fucking guy is everywhere. What up, bro? Been trying to get to commerce. I'm always working. Good to see you here. So you got fans in here, man.
What's good, party people?
Dave Mann in the comments says, how about the number of whining MMA fans acting like Masvidal was too violent? Shake my head. Right, coming from the Just Bleed crowd, stand him up, those fuckers. Yeah, okay. Then Raider brings up our let me skip that one real quick. MMA God says Masvidal schooling guy that crossed the line, but I'm so happy to see him get a shine. Give him the shot. I would love to see Jorge Masvidal get the shot. Now right now Usman isn't scheduled to fight anybody, right?
No, they got Covington fighting Lawler in August, right? I think it's August or something like that. So, dude, I mean,
that's wide open for Jorge. He didn't get hurt. He barely had 5 seconds to a fight. He's ready, right?
Well, he might have hurt his knee on Ben Askren's face, but
I don't even know that. Regardless, that's you know what? I'm calling it now. They're gonna make that fight. Kamaru Usman against Jorge Masvidal.
Well, before we start talking about Covington, I mean, can we talk about Covington, or is he still in litigation with UFC about not getting a title shot?
Time out. What?
There's a ambulance calling. The ambulance. Swear. And there's like tiny violins playing all in my head as I said that. But yeah, I mean, Covington Lawler. Oh, please, Lawler, eat him up, man. It's
that made me so happy. That would make me so goddamn happy that happened. Real quick, is it just me? Aren't they teammates?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
You what?
But I mean, they split it.
Really?
Yeah, I think they would definitely fight for a title though. I don't think they would fight like for just a fight, not like a number one contenders fight, but I'm pretty sure for a title fight they'd probably do it.
I'm talking about Covington and Lawler. They're teammates.
They were before.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying Covington and Masvidal.
Right. Okay. That makes more sense. Where's Lawler now? Anyone know?
Wherever Lawler wants to be, man. He's ruthless as hell.
He honestly, he's probably one of those guys that probably doesn't need to fucking have like a set camp anymore. He just goes wherever he wants to.
No.
He's not Diego Sanchez. He's not.
I was gonna say, are we gonna get a Diego Sanchez?
Yeah, we'll talk about Diego. We'll talk about Diego in his voodoo fucking corner in a second. But I'm down. I'm all in for Masvidal vs. Usman. I mean, anything can fucking happen at this point. All right. We'll continue the comments here. MMA God says, "War Robbie Lawler. Hope he steals Colby's soul." Everyone, we all do.
He's at Hard Knocks 365.
Okay.
Florida.
Oh, that's with Rockhold and Henry Hoofs.
That's Florida. Yeah.
Henry Hoofs. So he's gonna get knocked out, huh? Damn it.
I hope not. No. Rockhold's chin has been gone for a while. Oh Jesus Christ! Dave Mannon's like Lawler's with Diego's movement coach. No. God no. Yeah. Frederick says Covington and Masvidal said they'd fight each other for a title. So there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and shout out to Dave Madden. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You need to follow either Dave himself or NorCal MMA. Yeah. He's got the best MMA content this side of the Keyboard Warriors. I'm just saying.
No, dude, Dave does some shit. He got everybody with the fucking he photoshopped the Brett Okamoto tweet about 239 saying that Jones popped again.
Oh, from like...
people, right, dude. Everyone fucking bought it. Now I saw it for what it was because I knew. Okay, as soon as I saw, okay, Dave tweeted this out. You're like, huh? And then you just look at it for a second, like, oh god, this is gonna blow up. And you go on Twitter, you went on fucking anywhere. People were hitting me up in DMs. People were hitting me up going like, hey man, is that legit? And I go, I don't know. But here's the thing. So what Dave does when they comment on his memes, they'll be like, that's not true. And Dave will be like, oh, they deleted it, dude. What can I tell you? They deleted it real quick. I caught it, something like that, right? Yeah, basically, I consider that he caught it just in time, but it's tongue in cheek. So I was kind of like, I don't know, dude. Maybe it's true. Fuck, dude. We you know what I mean? I just kind of I like fan the fire. I fan the flames because I think it's fun. But yeah, he got everybody with that shit though. But definitely, meme amusement on Twitter and on Instagram is his new spot. All kinds of MMA content on there. Definitely check that out. And that's actually where I saw the video of Dylan Dennis getting punched in the face in a club in New York, which, by the way, was way more satisfying to watch than I thought it would be when I saw it. It's amazing.
10 points there.
You know what? Let me ask you this. Speaking of the whole John Jones and his picograms, do you guys feel kind of moving on to the main event? Because I know that's where you wanted to start, Eddie. Jumping around on the card here, but John Jones to me feels like I think Fred mentioned it before. He's fighting not to lose. And I felt like this fight, he should have been able to win and should have been able to finish the fight, especially after we know that Thiago Santos, what is it? ACL, MCL. He
blew his knee out completely. Basically.
Like, just everything you could tear in your knee, like he tore it, basically.
He had one ligament holding that shit together.
And he still managed to take John Jones 5 rounds and win 2 rounds off of him. In my opinion, 3, but I'm not a judge. But I mean, how do you see this moving forward? Because I know I hear a lot of people saying that Thiago deserves a rematch, and I say no because John Jones obviously does better in rematches. He kind of figures people out, figures out what they've done to him, and he kind of shores up that avenue, right? Like that's not an option for you the next time you fight him. So where do you see Jones going from here? Especially because now we see what a guy with a lot of power can do to Jones and kind of make him hesitant. So does the whole heavyweight thing kind of change for you now? Because for me, it has.
Eddie, you want to take the helm because I've got
Look,
a rant going.
here's what I'm going to say about John Jones. I'm probably not even going to answer what you said based on this, but homeboy needs to get back on the picograms. I'm serious. I'm 100% with Stylebender. 100% with Stylebender. How the fuck are you a finisher for most of your career? Fucking Lyoto Machida, Daniel Cormier with a head kick and then he popped. Fucking who else? Didn't he finish Ryan Bader too? I want to say
Yes, absolutely.
Finished Ryan Bader. Finished Rashad
Shogun.
Evans. Shogun. Finished Shogun. Okay, all these names, big time names getting finished. Can't finish Lionheart, who Thiago Santos finished, I believe, right? I think Santos finished him with a body kick. Okay, and can't finish Thiago Santos with a blown knee. That after not popping. Look, I don't know if it's the confidence isn't there or he really needed the picograms. But I'm convinced this dude was cheating his entire career. I'm telling you. I'm legit convinced at this one. I'm going full Fred Kirby. I convinced he cheated.
You know what? That argument makes a lot more sense now after the last two fights and seeing those results, right? Because John Jones of the Shogun era, when he won the title, would have ripped through these guys within a round, right? And now it seems like he's, like I said, it seems like he's fighting not to lose. And we know when champions do that, it just never turns out well, right? Because they start fighting safe, fighting boring, not taking risks, and just giving us these performances that, yeah, they'll get a win, but it just isn't a convincing win. It's not a John Jones win.
Right.
See,
right.
Okay, so in terms of where Jones is trying to go, right? I think this is some knowledge that was dispelled to me actually from Brendan Schaub. Mm-hmm. Jones is trying to get to 20 title defenses.
Right.
That's why we're not seeing him. I didn't know that before. I didn't know that was the ethos, right? And then when you look at guys like Floyd Mayweather was a buzzsaw at the beginning of his career. And then once he knew that he was fighting for his legacy, the fights got boring, right? So, I mean, yes, you turn that heat on when there's the big name guys, obviously, right? But look at it. John still won by decision after Thiago Santos, essentially ripped everything in his knee, and he still got a decision, right? Why eat those shots? I was there at UFC 209 with Wonderboy and Woodley, right? Mm-hmm. That is a prime example of two guys being cautious and very respectful of each other's power and striking distance. Yeah, go ahead and take Santos down, Jones, and try and eat an elbow from, the sledgehammer, right? Yeah, for your troubles on the way down. No, that's not the way you want to do things, right? And here's the crazy thing about it, right? Going back to Gustafsson, second time around, when he was on Joe Rogan, he said, I've got John Jones figured out. Same thing. Anthony Smith, I have John Jones figured out. Thiago Santos looked promising as hell. I mean, look at, right? I mean, that dude was just murking people left and right. Like nobody's business. And they all said they had an answer for Jones. And what did Jones do? And I'm not a Jones fan, but what did Jones do? Even in a decision, right? You don't think that who's left for him in terms of name recognition for Jones to fight?
I can't. 205?
Yeah. Almost nobody, right?
Time to move up, man.
Right. But the thing about it is, 20 title defenses. You can't move up if you're trying to beat Silva's record. I mean, Mighty Mouse got close and he got touched by Cejudo. So again, I think that right there, it means that Jones is trying to do the impossible, and realistically, nobody's on Jones's level. Picogram, no picogram, doesn't really matter. This is a guy who is the runt of the litter in terms of the Jones family. He's got 2 NFL world champion brothers, and he's the runt of the litter. Like, that's crazy. That's picogram the Jones. I want some picograms of the Jones family DNA for sure.
That's what I want. Shit, man. Put that shit in a pill. What the fuck? All right. Let me get through some more of these comments. Everyone's like, everyone wants Robert Lawler to kill Colby, like legit wants to kill him. Oh, Dave Madden from Meme Amusement says no more Facebook. Yeah, Facebook kind of screwed Dave quite a few times. He's probably done with that. And it's all good. I mean, he's got plenty with YouTube and Instagram and everything. All right. No, Dave says I miss Fred. Fred is in Toronto. He said he will jump on here if he gets a chance. He hasn't texted me or anything, and we got maybe like about 30 minutes or so of show left. So he might be running out of time, but he'll be back hopefully next week. Anyway, what else we got? Frederick's like, man, fuck John Jones. Right. Luke Rockhold is on John Jones' level. Damn, Davey. That's rough. Speaking of which, anybody here have a problem with Dana White saying that Luke should retire? Or does anybody here agree?
No.
You don't agree?
Yeah, go ahead, Jesse. I want to hear.
Okay, look, I think that there's a serious conversation to have about Luke Rockhold because I still feel that he's probably one of the best fighters all around. It's just we have to, and he has to figure out whether he wants to be a fighter or whether he wants to be an Adam Woods, man around town, living that life, like he likes being on boats, he likes surfing, he likes doing modeling, he likes doing all this other stuff. But how much is he actually putting into his MMA career? And what is this now? His third knockout loss in a row? Is it third?
Was it?
I know the last one he got knocked out.
Yeah, who fought him last? Who did he fight last?
Or is it 4? Because I think it was let me see. It was Bisping.
Right.
Then it was Yoel Romero.
Yeah.
Right.
Romero,
and then what was
he beat Branch.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so he got one in between, and then what was his last fight? His last fight where he got KO'd.
All right, so okay. So it's actually in the last 4 he's 3-1. Oh, sorry, 1-3. My bad, 1-3. Michael Bisping knocked him out in 2016. He got the TKO win over David Branch in 17. In 18, he got knocked the fuck out by Romero, and then he got knocked out by Jan Blachowicz. So he's 2 knockouts in a row. But his last 3 losses are knockouts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. That's the other thing. 2016, 17, or 17, 18, and then this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it's almost like a fight every year, basically, that he's been having.
Right.
So
pretty much.
It's either he's got to decide whether he wants to be a fighter or not. Because I think if he dedicates himself, goes back to AKA, goes up there and, just sharpens his sword with DC, with Kane, with Javier Mendez that's up there,
Right.
And lets Javier Mendez really like hone his skills back to that sharpness that he had. I think he could be like, the most destructive fighter out there. He's running out of time. He's what, 30, 34 or something like that, right? Or 33?
He's up there.
I mean, he's running out of time. But I think he has to decide. It's either he wants to model and he wants to do his lifestyle, or he wants to be a fighter. And I don't agree with Dana White saying that he should retire, but he definitely has to have that conversation and go, well, what do I want? Like, do I want to make a run at these titles? Because he looked good at 205. He looked, filled out. He looked a lot healthier. And he just still got KO'd, like it's tough, and he takes all this time off and he still gets rung like that. So, I mean, it's kind of scary for a young guy like him to just be getting KO'd and switched off like that. When he was one of the best strikers around. Remember, in Strikeforce, everybody was afraid of that dude with his long reach, his kicks, all his jiu-jitsu. Now nobody's scared of him, right? Like nobody's afraid of that guy.
Rockhold, no, I mean, he's got a suspect ass chin. Whoever has him next is gonna work on hooks. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, Adam?
I always wonder, not just with Rockhold, but Alan Joban has got a similar situation, right? Obviously, not. I love Alan, but not where he's the championship caliber of Luke Rockhold. But here's the thing. I mean, do you want to be a fighter, or do you want? I mean, if you're getting more money than to get punched in the face than to basically sit there and look pretty. I'm not saying like modeling is a easy job, but I mean, it's a lot better than getting punched in the face, and it's dwarfing your salary as a fighter, and getting you print ads where you wouldn't have just being a fighter. Like, yes, legacy is everything, but who's to say that 2 world titles in 2 different organizations against top level talent doesn't do it for Rockhold, right? And for Dana White to say that, oh, he needs to retire, this is a guy who famously said there would be no women in the UFC. This is a guy who let BJ Penn fight. Diego Sanchez. It's crazy. They did, leading up to International Fight Week, they did a reunion cast on YouTube of the first season of the Ultimate Fighter, and everybody looked long in the tooth. And Diego Sanchez is still fighting. Yeah. Got in the Hall of Fame. He did the Ric Flair, got the Hall of Fame the night before, and then came back, went out and fight, right? So here's the thing, I mean, Dana is going to be Dana, right? That's why you love or you hate Dana one way or another. But I mean, obviously it's a cognizant decision that you and your coaches have to make. I don't know what's being done. Henry Hoops is a world-class coach, but then again, so is Javier Mendez, and what went on there? The fact that Rockhold has only fought, once a year, maybe his foot is on the way out, and that's not bad, because if I can show up on a photo shoot and be put on a 8x10 spread, I'm doing that all day. Once you reach, I mean, we saw it happen with Ronda, we saw it happen with Conor, we saw it happen with Brock. Everybody that our MMA community that's had that reach and broach the pop culture lexicon, they've ended up leaving one way or another. And here's the thing, if they think that pasture is way greener on that side, do that. I don't want to see Ronda back. I don't want to see Brock back. I don't want to see CM Punk back. I don't want to. They're good. They're good. They're good. Let the next, if there's a slot that is occupied by somebody that doesn't necessarily want it anymore, there's a legion of young, hungry people that are willing to want to get that slot. I mean, Dana White's Contender Series is happening tonight. Jacob Rosales is out of CSW. He's got a chance. Give those guys a spot, those girls a spot. I'm just saying, but either way, Rockhold is good.
Yeah, I think give him one more fight. But at this point, if I'm Luke Rockhold, I go home and I evaluate. Like, did I achieve what I wanted to in this game? Was I champion? Yep. Did I make a bunch of money? Hopefully. Do I have a plan for afterwards? Sure. So I would think about it and just weigh on: do I want to keep doing this, keep getting knocked out? I think he gets one more fight, and if he doesn't do well, or if he loses that one, it might be time to go. What's up?
Is it time for Joe Rogan to have the talk?
I was about to say that. He needs to talk.
Yeah. Bro, you're not a leading fighter.
Talk with
but here's the thing.
Talk what?
Here's the thing. He has, a good community around him. He's got, Brian Callen. He's got Brendan Schaub also as a friend, a close friend. He's got Joe Rogan there. Like, he has the community around him. And it's kind of weird, right, that he has those people around him and nobody has, had that talk with him yet about, hey, dude, what do you want to do? Do you really want to do this? Do you really want the brain damage, or can you just do something else and be happy with what you achieve? Like you said, Eddie, you see, you already were a champion. You were one of the best. You headlined some cards and everything. What more do you need to achieve? Right. And do you have to stick around? It's a tough talk, but I mean, maybe it's time for somebody to have that talk with him.
Yeah, maybe. And I'm sure his coaches and his family will have a talk with him about what's next. But, ultimately it's up to that dude. Just like it's up to, Diego Sanchez, whether or not he wants to come back. Although he didn't look awful, he just looked physically outmatched by Michael Chiesa, who's a pretty big 170er. But I say this about him. He's a big 170er when he's fighting Diego Sanchez. That's
and when Diego Sanchez has one cornerman.
What the actual fuck, though? What are we doing? What the fuck are we – okay. What the fuck are we doing, Nevada State Athletic Commission? Really? We let a voodoo guy corner motherfuckers? Come on, man. The first thing I thought when I heard about this dude, there was a video of him doing something. It was like a swinging heavy bag, and it was going back and forth.
Oh, yes.
Right? Yeah. He's like, just react to the heavy bag. React to the heavy bag. And I'm like, fuck are you doing, dude? That's not gonna work. The heavy bag's gonna throw punches at you.
I'm just gonna say, I'm sure that the three of us here could have done a better job that night of not only coaching leading up to the fight, but also cornering Diego Sanchez.
Dude, I tweeted that morning because I still couldn't believe this shit was happening, and I was like, "There's at least 1,000 people in that crowd that train that would do incredibly, just way better job than this dude at cornering, right?" And I mean, during the middle of the rounds, right? First they went over to Chiesa's corner. I'm like, "No, fuck you, audio guy. Go to Diego's corner. That's what I want to hear. What this asshole saying." This motherfucker went and told Diego Sanchez, "I need the Tyson to come out of you." What the fuck does that mean?
Or in the third round, right? No more playing around or something like that.
No more playing around. No more playing. When are you playing around? There's no play. Yo, he's fucking you up. He's playing with you. You're not doing any playing around. What are you doing? Like, come on, man. Like, I get trying to inspire your fighter, but these guys need technical advice. Like the Mike Browns of the MMA world, the Javier Mendez of the MMA world, Faraz Sahabi, the guys that can give you technical advice between rounds of don't do that shit no more. Start doing this shit, and it'll work.
Jackson Winklejohn, the guys he left.
At least give me some waterfalls, motherfucker. What are we doing? You know what I mean? It's a trip, but regardless, you know, I think every time we hope that dude hangs it up because you wouldn't want his legacy to be like that guy that just kept fighting, getting beat up. But Diego Sanchez, I'm like, fuck it. Diego's gonna Diego. He's just gonna Diego. Now, one guy that might have retired was Gilbert Melendez, and that hurt. That hurt.
Yeah.
I am a scrap pack guy till I die. When I went to San Francisco last year, I made a point to go train at his spot. I was like, I don't give a fuck what we're doing. I need one day. And I got to go roll and train with his train jiu-jitsu over there. And like the gym is amazing. It's fucking awesome spot. And I was like seriously like proud as fuck to be there. So watching him fight, I almost felt like I was on his team. And to watch him not be able to hit Arnold Allen, right?
Arnold Allen, yeah.
Arnold Allen, thank you. Arnold Allen. The two first names is weird, but Arnold Allen, like that fuck with me, dude. I mean, Adam, he's slowed down quite a bit.
Yeah, and here's the thing, Gilbert Melendez and Carrie Ann, his wife, right?
Yeah.
I mean, first team all body, both of these folks, two great athletes, right? And you mentioned the prestige of the scrap pack, right? But when you look at Shields and you look at the Diaz brothers, like, I don't want to say that their best days are behind them, but I mean, it's just like, I hope they get to a point where they can turn the other cheek. And for me, Gilbert Melendez should be on that Schaub level where like somebody has that conversation and it's like, your deal is either coaching or, doing a podcast. Look at what Josh Johnson is doing, the bully and the punk. Like that's a great deal. That's another avenue. And things like this, there's avenues here for fighters that wouldn't have been here before. And they paved the way. Why shouldn't they reap the rewards of that? And I think Gilbert Melendez is in that deal. I mean, literally, before stepping into the cage, he had the record for the longest layoff in UFC history. Mm-hmm. What does he have to prove? Nothing, And I do get scared when I see like a Gilbert Melendez, or not so much Gilbert. Gilbert, we'll see what happens in the upcoming weeks. But when guys like Faber, when guys like BJ Penn or Diego Sanchez, they keep coming back, and it's just like, does that mean? I mean, are they elite level competition? And what way can we circumvent that? Can, would winning a Naga title, that's the same belt, whatever, would that suffice to their championship acumen? What other avenues can we find for them? Because, of course, like the exception to the rule, Chris Lieben. Chris Lieben is still fighting at an elite level in the regards of bare knuckle, right? So maybe his retirement was a little bit premature. Faber, kind of the same thing, but we'll see the next time he steps into the octagon. He's got 5 fights on the deal. We'll see. But again, I would like to have, I mean, it's important to sell the fights. That's what we're doing here, right? But even more important is to establish why these platforms, such as the Keyboard Warriors, kind of circumvent is the fact that, guess what? This is an avenue for these fighters, for our heroes, to go down so they don't have to go long in the tooth. They don't have to risk brain injuries that's unnecessary. You know,
Right.
like this is why these things are here. You know, and people want to hear because the legions of fans that follow them throughout their fight career, those are going to be the same people that are subscribing, linking in the comments, buying merch. That's it. You know, we've made it, and you guys helped us get here. So come on, sit down, smell the roses, because it's here for you.
Right, right. And you always hope that they always have something like, I know Dominic Cruz is technically retired, but I love the breakdowns that he and Gil do on ESPN. They do breakdowns, like technique breakdowns. I fucking love that shit. I love DC doing detail on ESPN Plus. I was hyped when he put that out. I loved that was fucking just awesome work. Like we can learn from these guys.
Yeah.
Going into commentating, going into analysis, going into whatever, right? And
absolutely.
So you just hope that they find that. Favorite coming back's a little weird, but you know, all good, man. Sacramento stand up, fuck it. But
you know what I like though is that at least you know, like Faber, like DC, like Gilbert, they have something that they can continue on their legacy with, right? Faber with his gym, he's still got a lot of fighters that are, you know, coming through the ranks, you know, coming through, you know, different organizations. So he's still in the mix. Gil, I think he posted something either today or yesterday, you know, where basically he's talking about, you know, his team, the Scrap Pack team, his wife, you know, and I think what I think he might realize, and I thought he had realized it before when I talked to him at Combates last year, was that he was concentrating on his wife's career. His wife, you know, doing really well in Bellator, and to me, it kind of seemed like this fight and his attitude towards it, even in his interview, was more like he wants to see if he can still do it, if he can still do it at that high level. And he has a good attitude about it, right? He's like, you know, I leveled up, you know, I still am learning something. I'm still, you know, my mixed martial arts journey is, you know, happening. And I think he's got a realistic view of his career right now. He's not, you know, talking to like Diego Sanchez where he's like, I'm going to win a title eventually. I'm going to win this fight. I'm going to win a title. He's not like BJ Penn. I'm going to win this fight and I'm going to fight for the title. He's like, look, I'm here. You know, I'm trying to see what I can do. I'm still, you know, a mixed martial artist. I'm a student. I'm trying to learn more of the game. And then he talks about, you know, his fighters, his wife, you know, his gym, all that other stuff. So I have more hope for Gil than I do for a lot of the other fighters. But I also agree with you guys, I think. And I think if we're all having this conversation with Gil, I think he'd be the first to admit, like, man, you know, I'm just not as fast. I'm not as quick. I'm not as good as I used to be. But he'll probably tell us the same. Like, you know, I'm having fun. You know, what else? You know, what else do you want me to do? You know, and as long as he has that healthy attitude, let him keep going, man. Whatever he wants to do. Now, an unhealthy attitude is like BJ Penn, who's, you know, just off his rocker thinking he's gonna win a title. You know what I'm saying? So at least a healthy view of where he's at is something that, you know, is kind of like hopeful, right?
We need to stop with that whole unmotivated BJ Penn, because that shit's out the fucking that saying is out the door. It's over. Right, we're starting to run out of time here, so let's just hit up on what was the other fight? Co-main event. Nunes.
Amanda Nunes. Absolutely.
Greatest of all time, Adam Woods. Greatest.
Absolutely.
Is she the GOAT now?
She was the GOAT before this fight. She's the GOAT. She solidified that fact. You know, one thing, when the history books look back at UFC 239, we're going to see that we saw arguably the greatest male and without a doubt, with uncontested, best pound for pound female combat sports athlete of all time in the co and main events in title fights. That's what we're going to take away from that. And you know what, Jesse brought it up, right? Poetic justice. And I think that's going to be the overwhelming theme for UFC 239. And I say that to say the way that Nunes knocked out Holly Holm was almost reminiscent of the way that Holly Holm knocked out Ronda. Right? So not the fact that she beat her with her own move, essentially. Yeah. My goodness, so you know, and who else is there? For two different weight divisions. And here's another caveat that I think went under the rug swept, right? Was Dana White had said that, the bantamweight, the featherweight title would be kind of up in the air. What happens to that, depending on what happened on this fight, right? So
Right.
Nunes had the most to lose. She could have lost both straps if Holly Holm had walked out of the cage as the champion, right? One in defeat, one on a technicality, right? When she's arguably, I mean, her and Nina are cute as a button, right? These are two people that, elite level fighters that are a couple, right? I agree with Rogan in the sense, like, why isn't, Amanda Nunes's poster like all up and down West Hollywood and every community, that's a story that anybody, straight, lesbian, whatever, political backgrounds be damned. She came from a favela in Brazil and won 2 champions, but en route beating finishing, knocking out Ronda Rousey, choking out Misha Tate, knocking out Holly Holm, right? Knocking out Cyborg, right? And it's not just the fact that she's those are names that she's defeated. She has finished them.
Yep.
She's the GOAT. What are you gonna do? Bring back Gina Carano? Are Marlos Cohen? Please stand up. No, I mean, it's gonna take somebody up. Really, it's gonna be a point where if Amanda Nunes's skills regress a little bit and somebody kind of ups the level of competition and kind of going to what you were saying in terms of Gilbert Melendez. I don't think so much Gilbert Melendez is regressing in his skills. I'm just saying that the curb is so much higher now. Right. If Frank Shamrock would compete now, I don't know how he'd do. Right? Those are outliers. He was the best of that generation. That generation has now since passed. So again, Amanda Nunes, GOAT. Whatever she does after this, it's just cherry on top of a already sweet diabetes-ridden Sunday.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Who's next for her? Is it retirement, or is it another fight to even more cement her legacy, or like, what do you guys see next for her?
Dude, I think they end up doing the Cyborg rematch. I don't see any other fight they have. Excuse me, I don't think they do that if actually, yeah, I think the Cyborg rematch. Who else is there? At 35? Who? You know what I mean? She's cleared out both divisions pretty quickly. Yeah. Fuck, I don't know.
I mean, like, here's what I say. I think the only person right now that could give her a challenge would be Shevchenko, right? Because that was a close fight.
Oh, she did.
That's probably the only fight at this point that would be at least sexy, right? That we could actually say, like, okay, that's somebody that could give her like a run for her money. Yet, I mean, that doesn't even sound right anymore, right? Because Shevchenko is what, two weight classes lower than her, or one if she's fighting at 35. But it just doesn't even make sense anymore. So, like, to me, I would say retirement. Like, she, like Adam pointed out, she literally beat everybody that either was a champ or held the belt at one point in both divisions,
right?
And like Adam said, finished everybody. Like, there was no doubt of how those fights went. And a rematch with Cyborg, I don't really see it going any different, honestly. And even if it does go different, like, what does it matter? Like, she obliterated everybody on her way up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like she might as well just walk away with the double strap and be the greatest women's fighter ever.
There you go.
I say give her Durandamine just so she has another name.
Give her Durandamine because Durandamine wouldn't fucking fight, first of all. And she threw those like after the bell shots. One after the bell shot, I buy it. It's a mistake. Another one, go fuck yourself. That was on purpose. That's bullshit. Anyway, yeah, why not? If she wins this Saturday, fuck it. Let's do it. All right, as far as 239, I think it's it. Real quick. Raider says, let's see. Raider says, yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. Raider says, I loved it. I bet Soto came out of Ronda's nose laughing when that happened. Maybe. MMA God says Travis Brown created a burner account to roast Holly, called her Buster Douglas. That's fucked up. Frederick says Cyborg gonna lose again, by the way, probably. Raider says, yes, okay, let's give her Chev, and maybe Nunes will finally knock that broad out cold, and we can stop hearing about that fight. Yeah, and then MMA God says what pretty much all of us is saying, yeah, I don't see Nunes losing to anyone anytime soon. So that's kind of where we're at. All right, let's just touch on this weekend's card really quick, just on a few names on here. So obviously from Sacramento, UFC Sacramento from Golden One Center this Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific time, making it before 5 p.m. Eastern time. The prelims, the whole card is on ESPN Plus, so you're on the internet the whole time. But you got names on the card like Darren Elkins, the damage taking on Ryan Hall, Benito Lopez taking on Vince Morales, the return of Juliana Pena, your favorite there, Jesse. Taking on former champ Nico Montano. Andre Touchy-Fila taking on Shayman Moraes. Mark Rodriguez is the against John Allen Arte is the main prelim. And then on the main card, as far as this card goes, the Italian Marvin Vittori coming back and says for Hera. Carl Robertson against Wellington Turman. Josh Emmett against Mirsad Bektik, who's a scary motherfucker. Your favorite coming back against Ricky Simon. And of course, our main event, what we're talking about right now, make our picks. Jermaine Durandamy against Aspen Ladd. Aspen Ladd, who I believe is pretty young still, but has cemented her name pretty solid in the world of women's MMA. Who's your pick here in this main event?
Durandamy with eye pokes.
The John Jones technique, folks. What about you, Jesse?
Absolutely.
I was gonna say Durandamy by late punches, so KO after the bell, but it's a tough fight. You know what? I think Aspen Ladd is pretty smart. I just don't know how she's gonna hold up to the power of Durandamy, but I'm gonna go Ladd. She's
and GDR is bigger than her, right?
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Like pretty solid big size. I'm gonna take Aspen Ladd by honesty. There you go. I'm gonna take Aspen Ladd by honesty. How about that, motherfucker? She's gonna honestly whoop her ass. No, I'm just kidding. I ain't taking Aspen Ladd though. I'm an Aspen Ladd fan. I really am. Would love to see that girl fight her way up to a title shot within the next year or so. Unless, of course, we're out of contenders. They might just throw her up there like, hey, good luck. So, Dana White has a habit of doing that because our matchmakers are no longer Joe Silva. So,
yeah. Where's Tanya Evinger? Right?
Oh, she'll take that fight any day.
Yeah, of course she will. But that's what she got the first time.
Right.
You know what? We the only thing we did forget to mention was Yadong's KO.
Oh yeah,
over the weekend.
Yadong.
Yeah, he had a very, very vicious knockout. Even though his shine was taken away by Masvidal, but that was a great knockout.
Yeah, Yadong had that bonus until Masvidal landed that knee. Even he knew, shit, I just lost 50K. I take it back. He got the 50K. There was 4 performance bonuses. I want to say it was Nunes, Masvidal, Yadong was one. And who was the last one? Fuck, there was one. Oh, goddamn, it's gonna bug me. Anyway,
I hope it was Santos after he blew out his knee.
I wish it was Santos, but they don't do that. Frederick taking Ladd via TKO first round, and then MMA guy says Ryan Hall versus the damage would be a fun fight for sure. It will be. I think Ryan Hall's gonna heel hook the shit out of him though. But the problem is when you heel hook in MMA, you're wide the fuck open in shots. So enjoy that. That's why I like to see people try and heel hook in combat jiu-jitsu. That's always fun. Because a big old fucking palm to your face, bitch. So all right. And then one more thing that actually popped off right before the show went live. We have Combate Americas. We talked about this with Jesse. What's his name? Fuck. I always say it wrong. What's his last name?
Afremowicz.
Thank you. I always miss his last name up. Mike Afremowicz from Combate Americas. We actually talked to him about it before. He didn't confirm nor deny anything, but it is confirmed now. Tito Ortiz will take on
Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah, that's official, folks. That's gonna fucking happen. Let me see if they have a date on that yet.
Knew it. We knew it.
Right. Well, they kind of had to. All right. Campbell McLaren confirms fight between Tito Ortiz and Alberto Del Rio. It doesn't say when, but it's confirmed. So it's gonna happen. There's no current details confirmed for the fight other than the fight's gonna happen. So if you guys don't know, Alberto Del Rio actually fought in Pride. He got crow copped. And I want to say he would have, huh?
Un Máscara.
Oh yeah. He came in with the mask and everything, like crow copped. He came in with boots and all this shit too. He had the gear, but he got knocked the fuck out.
Well, because he came from wrestling, so
right. But I believe he was a legit wrestler though, wasn't he? Like
absolutely.
Legit and he would have been an Olympian, except I think the year he came out,
Mexico didn't send a team. That was
they didn't
2000.
send a team. That's right.
Yeah, that was 2000.
Right. Yeah. I remember because I was wondering what the fuck happened to my home country's fucking. I was like, where we at? What the fuck? Like, but and that was like when I was starting to watch wrestling a little bit. I was in high school still, but still. All right. Anything else you guys want to mention before we head out of here?
Yeah. Real quick before Adam gets his plugs in, I wanted to give a shout out to our boy from the lab, BJJ over here in Lancaster, from my neck of the woods. Jerry Montes. He actually got his black belt. Over the weekend.
Yes, sir. I was waiting for that. He's been a brown belt long enough. Damn.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So, but hopefully I'll get to see him this week. Go congratulate him in person. But yeah, shout out to a lifelong journey, as Eddie could attest to. It's not an easy road to get to a black belt. So,
dude, I'm not even a quarter way there yet. I'm like 10 years away. So, hey, look, in all seriousness, congratulations, Jerry. Fully well-deserved, incredibly deserved. Not only a great person and a great practitioner, but a teacher as well. So, dude does amazing work. Last second check of the headlines and nothing big that we haven't already talked about. All right, Adam, where can the people reach you, and where's your show going to go live in about 20 minutes?
In 20 minutes, you can join us live on Free Admission Media's YouTube and Facebook pages as we go live with the Gym Crashers. Tonight, we'll have a couple guests on. Alan Soran from MMA Events, Inc., talking about his huge show at the Pasadena Convention Center on July 27th. Yeah, so that's cool. You can find me at According to Woods on Instagram, Twitter, that whole deal. Shout out to Julia Avila, who made her UFC debut. Friend of mine, she's awesome. Threw me literally 10 feet across the room the first time we grappled together. So there's that. And yeah, man. And shout out to the Keyboard Warriors for what you guys do, because again, another avenue for us fighters, fans, just people that are involved in the fight business to come and gather and talk about what talk about water cooler talk, what everybody wants to talk about. If you guys hadn't provided a platform, I don't think I'd be doing what I'm doing. So thank you guys.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for coming on, man. Really, we love having you on here. And it's always a lot of fun. All right. Shout out to everyone that tuned in today. Of course, MMA guys, Raider was here. Frederick hanging out all day because he can't ride his motorcycle right now because water problems. Yeah, I know. Who else we got? Dave Mann of Meme Amusement. That is at Meme Amusement. Twitter, Instagram, no longer Facebook because they're dicks. Who else we got today? Davey Boy jumped in. It's been a while, Davey. What the fuck? Where you been at, dude? And Alex Gonzalez, a new guy. What's up, dude? Appreciate you tuning in. Anyone that tunes in, all you guys that come in here. Oh, Frederick brought the Stylebender quote. I don't know if you guys saw it. Stylebender was being interviewed during the Masvidal fight. And he goes, "Oh shit, fuck off, fuck out of here." He brought planking back. I died laughing when he said that. Because when Masvidal dropped to the ground like that, I thought planking too right away. I totally dated myself on that, but still. All right. You can follow me at Elo31. You can follow Jesse at Spawat1983. Fred Kirby's at Kirby_MMA. Shout out to Fred out in Toronto, having the time of his life, enjoying shit. You do you, homie. Don't worry about anything. Hopefully we'll have him back next week. I believe next week we'll be doing a show on Thursday, but I'll give you guys details as soon as we get those. And because I'm going on vacation tomorrow. So yeah. All right. Shout out to represent ripthewarriors.com. Shout out to Spices Pros, spicespros.com. All right. That's it. We love you guys. Catch you guys later. Enjoy the fights. Good night. Good night, Wilshire.